Even your DNA, folks, I mean, I've spoken about this before, and there are a lot of people that have done research on this. If you're in the correct emotional state, you can literally recode your DNA. When you talk about the love vibration and the fear vibration, Greg Braden's talked about this on a lot of his documentaries that I've seen, when he talks about the slow wave of fear, how it touches relatively few sites on your DNA. Now, a lot of people have laughed at this and said, oh, your DNA is all curled up in a ball. There's no way it can happen like this because your DNA isn't stretched out. Well, the reason your DNA isn't stretched out is because you are living in a state of fear. When you're in a state of fear, then your DNA bunches up in a tight little knot. It doesn't relax and spread out. So there's no way you're going to be changing yourself on a genetic level when your DNA is all tightly bunched up in a knot. And the way to get it unbunched is to put yourself in an energetic state of love. You can feel it, folks, really. I mean, when you think about this, these are physical sensations that you can feel in your body. You know that feeling when you're in fear? Say you're in a yard and someone's dog starts barking at you, that feeling that you get, that rush over your body, the adrenaline pumps out, and you just get this feeling, you go, whoa, you know? Well, that's the fear energy. That's that fear energy. And then opposed to that energy is that warm, fuzzy feeling that you get when you've just given someone a gift. That really warm, fuzzy, beautiful feeling. The best way I can describe it is the feeling that I get when I've given someone a gift and they show appreciation for that gift and I see their eyes light up. That is a wonderful feeling to me. That is full 528 hertz. That is the feeling. You might get it from when you look at a newborn child. You might get it from your mother or your partner or your husband or your wife or your dog, whatever it is that you love that gives you that feeling. That is the opposite to that horrible fear feeling when you're running from someone, when you're scared for your life. That is fear. It isn't just adrenaline. The adrenaline is just what makes your body move fast. The feeling that you're getting, that intense rush, that is fear. And you can see how easy it is to get that fear rush. I mean, it's quite difficult for a lot of people to really put themselves in a state of love. I understand that it is, simply because all of our societies are based on fear. Everything that we've learnt since childhood has been based on fear. As soon as you're born, your parents are smacking you, yelling at you, telling you to be quiet, all this stuff. As soon as you're a toddler, well, I mean, you're just getting told what to do the whole time. You get sent to preschool, they tell you what to do. Your whole life, it's all structured on fear. You go to school, the whole school system is structured on fear. The whole working system is structured on fear. Everything about our societies is structured on fear. The media fills you full of fear. Fear of this, fear of that, fear of terrorism, fear of swine flu, fear of avian flu, fear of everything. Fear of everything. Fear of war, fear of nuclear war. They do everything. They keep you in fear constantly. 24 hours a day. Every single thing about our societies is structured in fear. So people who don't even believe that they are living in fear, if they look deep enough, they find that their entire world is structured on fear and that they are actually living in fear. And I believe the reason a lot of people don't see this is simply because of the efforts that are made to pull the wool over people's eyes, the efforts that are made to dumb people down, the efforts that are made through many of the neurotoxins in our foods. The chemicals in our water, the aerial spraying, a lot of the things that are going on. This has been a gradual process, folks, where they've gradually shifted this entire consciousness into fear. And so it's very, very hard for people to break out of that emotional state. But when you do break out, you can literally heal yourself. You can literally heal your body. You can change reality. You've just got to be in that state of unconditional love. And this means giving of your heart. Giving of your heart and understanding your connection to others. And standing up and speaking the truth. Don't comply with all of this corruption around you. It all functions and it continues to be corrupt because we all comply with it. And this is where non-compliance comes into it, folks. I mean, a lot of people are thinking non-compliance is a political movement. It's really a state of mind. It's an attitude. I simply won't comply by the fear. I won't allow myself to become subject to that reality. It's not part of my reality. I simply don't know how to fear things anymore. I'm really not scared in the least of anything that is to come, anything that has been, anything that might happen to me for speaking out. It doesn't affect me. And even people that have said to me, well, don't you fear for your life for speaking out? And I think, no, I don't, because I know what the true nature of this reality is. And I know what my connection to this reality is. I know what my connection to the entire matrix is. I just find it very difficult to feel fear anymore. I imagine, of course, under the right circumstances, I could. I'm sure that if someone snuck up on me and said boo in the right circumstances, I'd jump out of my skin like everybody else. But on an everyday level and in interacting with this world and interacting with this society, I simply don't fear anything that it has to throw at me. I can put this entire lack of fear down to an understanding of energy. For me, that's been the key to the whole thing, simply understanding energy. The show's sort of gotten away from me a little bit today. There's so much I did mean to talk to you about. Something that I do want to touch on is the Copenhagen Treaty. I don't know how many of you have heard of the Copenhagen Treaty. I did mention it a few shows ago when I was talking about Obama winning the Nobel Peace Prize. But it's very important for everybody who's listening to this show to write to your local senator, write to your local governor. If you're here in Australia, then write to your local politician and also write to the Premier of your state and also send a letter to the Prime Minister's office telling him that you will not abide by the Copenhagen Treaty, and inform your political leaders that if your government signs the Copenhagen Treaty, you as citizens will seek to have it overturned. This is a very, very dangerous treaty, folks. This will transfer sovereignty of all of our nations over to one global governing body. So this is the purpose of the whole global warming scam, you see, is to introduce this one governing body which is going to come into power under the pretext of protecting us from ourselves, protecting the planet against global warming. But this is not what it is, folks. This is one world government. That's what this is. Forget the whole pretext of global warming. Whether you think man is responsible for global warming or not, we need to deal with it on an individual level. We don't need one global governing body enforced by one global army and one global police force, all run by one global monetary system that is privately run. This is a blatant corporate takeover of the world. That's what this Copenhagen Treaty is all about. We cannot allow our governments to sign this, and if our governments do sign this, well, they're guilty of treason against their nation. If Prime Minister Kevin Rudd signs this in Australia, he is signing his country over to a foreign power, and he's committing treason against his nation. If Obama signs this, then he is signing America away to a foreign power, and he's committing treason against his nation. Any government in the world who signs this treaty is committing treason against their nation. We the people need to inform our politicians that we will vote them out of office immediately should they sign this treaty, and that we the people will not honour this treaty. We don't care what the governing body signs, we the people will not honour this treaty. And any police officer or military personnel that they pull in to enforce this treaty, understand that these people are guilty of treason against their nation as well. These are truly some of the most brainwashed people in all of our society. And these people really need to wake up to themselves. They really need to wake up to what they are doing. They need to start showing a little bit of interest in the actual global political climate, the reality of the global political climate, not just what they are fed by government propaganda machines and mainstream media. They need to really start looking at things themselves. It's very unfortunate the role that police have been tricked into playing in our society, and it's very unfortunate the role the military have been tricked into playing in our society, because their sole purpose now is to defend elitist corruption and to support corrupt corporations, keep the people in check, stop the people from ever coming into the power that they have. And these individuals forget they are people too, and they are removing their own rights, they're removing the rights of their children and of their own families and of themselves. Now there's a certain amount of stigma involved these days in trying to alert people to the fact that man-made global warming is a myth. People who try to point out the fact that man is not responsible for global warming are being called global warming deniers. This is, of course, because of the connotations that the word denier holds, because it's been used as Holocaust denier. So just the use of the word denier makes a subconscious connection in people's minds. They think of Holocaust deniers as Jew haters. So therefore they think of global warming deniers as evil people. Now, I'm not a global warming denier. I freely admit that the Earth is heating up. But the unfortunate thing for the man-made global warming enthusiasts is that the science clearly shows that man is not responsible for global warming. So the unfortunate fact for these people is that the entire solar system is heating up due to the placement of our solar system in the galaxy at this particular point. This is part of a regular cycle.